Fruit good. Sari happy. Sky quiet now.
Imagine a gorilla that not only communicates using sign language but can also predict the future. That is Milo, the gorilla who has amazed the world with his extraordinary abilities. Born in the dense tropical forests of Uganda, in the heart of Bwindi Impenetrable National Park, known as the Forest of Mist, due to the clouds that linger above the treetops, Milo grew up among a wild troop. But unlike other gorillas, Milo quickly displayed a unique talent. He learned to use sign language from researchers from around the world who were working to conserve the rare mountain gorillas. Beyond that, Milo astonished them by predicting mysterious events, from sudden heavy rains to the appearance of poachers in the forest. But what if Milo's predictions were not just a game, but a warning of an impending disaster? Join us in exploring Milo's surprising journey as he steps out of Uganda's deep forests to face the world beyond. Will his abilities be enough to protect his natural home, or will his prophecies lead him to a fate no one could foresee? Milo was born in the heart of Uganda's tropical forests, specifically in Bwindi Impenetrable National Park, where the dense green canopy and thick mist enveloped the landscape. This was the setting for an international research project on the social behavior of mountain gorillas, led by scientists from across the globe. The project aimed not only to study but also to conserve this rare species, and Milo was a part of that effort. When Milo was young, tragedy struck. His parents, key members of the wild gorilla troop under study, suddenly vanished during a devastating flood. One stormy night, the Munyaga River overflowed, sweeping away everything in its path. Milo, just a few months old, was left alone, shivering on a rock amidst the raging waters. Fortunately, Dr. Sari, an African-American researcher on the team, found him while surveying the damage. With compassion, she took Milo into her arms and brought him to the research camp deep in the forest, deciding to raise the orphan gorilla. Milo grew up with the memory of his lost family. He would often sit quietly, his deep brown eyes gazing into the forest as if waiting for his parents to return. But over time, Milo found comfort in his close bond with Dr. Sari. She was not just his rescuer but also his guide. Under her care, Milo learned to trust humans and gradually became part of the camp's life. With Sari, he was no longer alone, and in his heart, she became the greatest source of encouragement to overcome his past pain. Milo's language journey. In a lush conservation area, Dr. Sari, a dedicated animal behavior researcher, embarked on an ambitious journey, teaching sign language to Milo, an unusually intelligent gorilla. Hoping to delve deeper into the intelligence of great apes, she patiently guided Milo through each sign and gesture. What she didn't expect was that Milo would far exceed her expectations, opening a new door to understanding gorilla cognition. Milo not only learned quickly but also achieved an astonishing milestone, mastering over 1,200 signs. From expressing emotions to describing his surroundings, Milo demonstrated exceptional communication skills. Even more remarkably, he developed a rare talent, predicting simple events through keen observation of his environment. One morning, with the sky still clear, Milo suddenly signed heavy rain. Dr. Sari was skeptical, but just a few hours later, a sudden storm arrived, proving Milo's intuition. Another time, he signed danger and looked eastward. Shortly after, the ground trembled slightly, a small earthquake that no one in the team had anticipated. Besides his intelligence, Milo had an irresistible sense of humor. One day, when Dr. Sari clumsily tripped on a slippery path, Milo quickly signed "Sorry slow" with a mischievous glint in his eye. The entire research team burst into laughter at his wit, and from then on, Milo became the camp's endless source of joy. Scientifically, studies show that gorillas have sharp senses, allowing them to detect subtle environmental changes, like air pressure or vibrations. However, Milo's predictive ability seemed to surpass those limits. He didn't just react to the present but anticipated the near future, suggesting a form of intelligence previously unexplored, a blend of instinct and logical thinking. Milo's journey is not just a story about language but also a reminder that nature still holds mysteries waiting to be discovered. Milo, the extraordinary gorilla who communicates through sign language, is no longer a small secret of Dr. Sari and the research team in Uganda. His fame has spread far beyond the African borders, reaching laboratories and scientific conferences worldwide. Researchers from all over, from London, Tokyo, to New York, flocked to the Bwindi forest to witness the talking gorilla in person. Milo became the centerpiece of the research project, a living symbol of the connection between humans and wild nature. He didn't just communicate with Dr. Sari, his closest friend, but also began interacting with new scientists. He displayed remarkable curiosity and intelligence. When meeting Dr. Elena, a behavioral expert from Italy, Milo signed "beautiful coat" and pointed to her blue jacket, making her laugh. With Dr. Hiroshi from Japan, he learned the sign for tree and used it to ask about the forests he had studied. Milo's eagerness to learn not only surprised the research team but also made them feel closer to him than ever before. But the real shock came on a moonlit night. As the research team was taking notes by the fire, Milo suddenly signed with a serious expression, "Fire. Water. Forest disappears." Dr. Sari, who understood him best, asked, "Milo, what are you saying?" He repeated, his hands trembling slightly, "Dream. Bad dream." The researchers exchanged confused looks. What were these strange images? Fire and water could be understood, but forest disappears. Dr. Elena suggested it might be a sign of anxiety, but Milo continued to sign about these dreams for days, making it impossible for the team to ignore. While the research team was still trying to decipher Milo's mysterious signs, a real threat emerged. The logging company Green Harvest, with plans to turn the Bwindi forest into a timber resource, began pressuring the local authorities. They brought in heavy machinery and promises of jobs, but at the cost of the forest's life, Milo's home and countless other species. The research project, deeply connected to this natural haven, faced the risk of destruction. Milo seemed to sense something was wrong. He became more anxious, frequently signing "Forest dead" and "Where is home" with a bewildered look. One afternoon, as the sound of engines echoed from afar, Milo ran to Dr. Sari, tightly hugging her and signing, "Loud noise. Bad. Forest goes." His usual cheerfulness vanished, replaced by clear unease. Dr. Sari stroked him, trying to reassure, "Milo, will protect the forest. Don't be afraid." But inside, her own worries grew. The research team decided to take action. They contacted international conservation organizations and held press conferences to draw attention to the threat from Green Harvest. But the company was not easily deterred. Each day, the shadows of trucks and chainsaws drew closer, and Milo seemed to understand that his home was in danger. Once, he sat quietly by the forest edge, signing to Dr. Sari, "Where is Milo? Home is lost." The question pierced her heart, strengthening her resolve to fight for him and the Bwindi forest. One early morning, with the mist still lingering over the Bwindi forest, Milo suddenly became restless. He sat next to Dr. Sari, his deep brown eyes filled with worry. Suddenly, he began signing a complex series of signs that no one had ever seen before: big fire, big water, everything goes. Dr. Sari, surprised, asked, "Milo, what are you saying?" But Milo repeated, his hands trembling, signing urgently, "Fire. Water. Forest disappears. Quickly." The research team, accustomed to Milo's smaller predictions, sensed the gravity in his gestures this time. Dr. Elena, an animal behavior expert, remarked, "Perhaps he's warning of a major disaster, forest fire combined with flooding." But how could that be, when the sky was still clear with no sign of rain or fire? Dr. Sari decided not to take Milo's warning lightly. She and the research team hurriedly contacted the local authorities, requesting evacuation and preparation for a possible disaster. However, when they presented their case to the officials, they were met with skepticism. A gorilla predicting a disaster? Are you serious? One official scoffed. We need scientific evidence, not fairy tales. The research team tried to explain Milo's special abilities, but without concrete data, their plea was rejected, leaving them to face the reality that they might be alone in this battle. Milo, sensing the failure, became quieter. He sat at the edge of the forest, signing to Dr. Sari. Sari scared? Milo scared. She hugged him, trying to reassure him, we will find a way, Milo. You are not alone. But deep down, she knew time was running out. A few days later, as the research team was preparing for the worst, an unexpected drought hit. The Bwindi forest, usually damp year-round, suddenly became parched. Then, one afternoon, a spark from a distance, possibly from a green harvest truck, ignited a terrifying forest fire. The flames spread rapidly, consuming everything in their path. The research team panicked, but thanks to Milo's warning, they had an evacuation plan ready. They quickly moved Milo and the other animals in the camp to a safe area high up, where there was a large lake. But the disaster didn't stop there. As the fire raged on, a sudden heavy rain poured down, a rare phenomenon in the dry season. Floodwaters from the rivers surged in, sweeping away everything, including the remaining fires. Just as Milo had predicted, big fire, big water, everything goes. Fortunately, thanks to his warning, the research team and the animals were safe on higher ground, witnessing the horrifying scene from afar. After the disaster, as the forest began to recover, the scientists couldn't help but wonder about Milo's special ability. Dr. Hiroshi, a biologist from Japan, proposed a theory. Perhaps Milo possesses a form of genetic memory, an ability his ancestors developed to survive natural disasters. Or maybe he has a sixth sense that allows him to detect subtle environmental changes that humans can't perceive. The research team began documenting Milo's predictions in detail, hoping to uncover the secret behind his talent. Milo, after everything, returned to a sense of peace. He sat beside Dr. Sari, signing, "Forest alive. Home still here." She smiled, stroking him, "That's right, Milo. Thanks to you, we saved our home." But in her heart, she knew that Milo's story was just beginning, and the world had much to learn from this special gorilla. After the devastating flood that ravaged the Bwindi forest, Milo, the intelligent gorilla who communicated through sign language, was forced to temporarily leave the place he called home. To ensure his safety, the research team decided to transfer Milo to another conservation area in Uganda while they worked to restore the damaged forest. On the day of parting, Milo stood silently beside the truck, his deep brown eyes reflecting an indescribable sadness. He looked at Dr. Sari, his companion, mentor, and the one who had been with him from the beginning, and signed with trembling hands, "Where is Sari?" His silent voice seemed to echo through each gesture. Dr. Sari tried to hold back her emotions, stroking his fur and signing back, "Milo is safe. Sari will come." But Milo shook his head, slowly signing, "Sari come with." Her heart tightened, but she knew she couldn't keep him. As the truck drove away, Milo sat in his cage, his eyes fixed on Sari until her figure disappeared behind the trees. At the new conservation area, Milo was cared for attentively, but he couldn't hide his homesickness. He often sat alone on a large rock, gazing into the horizon, signing "home" and "sorry" with a pensive expression. The staff there tried to befriend him, but Milo seemed to withdraw. He adapted to the new environment, but his mind remained with the Bwindi forest, where the laughter of the research team and conversations through sign language with Sari once filled the air. Sometimes, he tapped rhythms on tree trunks, but the sounds were no longer lively. Instead, they were melancholic tunes, like whispers of days gone by. 5 years passed, and the Bwindi forest gradually revived from the ashes. Young trees grew tall and green, the rivers returned to their peaceful flow, and birds chirped again in the canopy. Dr. Sari and the research team worked tirelessly to make this a reality, and finally, they decided it was time to bring Milo back. On the day of reunion, Sari stood at the forest's edge, her heart pounding with anticipation and excitement. When the truck carrying Milo appeared, she could hardly stand still. Milo stepped out, taller than before, his fur gleaming in the sunlight. He breathed in the familiar air, then suddenly turned, his eyes meeting Sari's. Without hesitation, he rushed to her, embracing her with his gentle strength, quickly signing, "Home. Sari. Safe." Dr. Sari burst into tears, tears streaming down her cheeks as she signed back, "Milo is home. Sari is here." Around them, the entire research team stood in silence, tears of joy rolling down their faces. Milo, the sensitive and intelligent gorilla, had finally returned to his true home, where Sari and the forest he loved awaited. In his final days, when Milo's body no longer had the strength to roam among the trees of the Bwindi forest, he still retained his bright eyes and a heart full of love. One afternoon, under the fading sunlight, Milo sat beside Dr. Sari, his companion who had been with him through so many challenges. With slow but determined movements, Milo signed his final message, "Listen to the forest, save the forest." It was not just a message for Sari but a timeless call, as if he wanted the whole world to understand that the forest was his breath, his soul. Sari held Milo's hand, tears streaming down, and whispered, "Milo, you've saved it." Milo nodded gently, then closed his eyes, passing away peacefully, merging with the nature he had spent his life protecting. Milo's death was not an end but the beginning of a great legacy. His accurate predictions of natural disasters, an ability no one expected from a gorilla, were recognized as a breakthrough in the study of animal intelligence. Scientists from around the world began to see animals not just as living beings but as silent teachers. In memory of Milo, the Bwindi forest was permanently protected and named after him, the Milo Conservation Area. His name now stands alongside the lush green trees, babbling rivers, and echoing birdsong, a living testament that a small creature can change the world. Milo's story concludes with a profound message: animals are not just a part of nature, they are messengers and teachers, urging us to listen and protect the world around us. From learning sign language to predicting disasters and delivering his final message, Milo taught us that nature is never silent, it speaks, if only we choose to listen. He is proof that the connection between humans and animals can create wonders, and that each of us has a role in preserving this planet. Has Milo's story touched your heart? If his journey has moved you, please share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear how Milo's message inspires you and what it means to you. Join us in spreading the love for nature and animals by subscribing to the Animal Kisa channel. Every video is a story, and every story is a reminder of the beauty and importance of the natural world. Don't miss your chance to be part of a community of nature lovers like you. Let's listen and act together for a greener world, just as Milo dreamed.